Now at 5, the case of a contractor accused of taking money from clients without finishing the work. He won't serve jail time. And tonight, Call 6 Investigates uncovers the reason why Mark Sellers is avoiding a criminal conviction.
We'll tell you about some work being done at Butler University to combat the coronavirus.
And fallout from the firing of the Franklin College president, what the college now wants to know from students and employees.
This is RTV6 News at 5, working for you.
We begin now at 5 o'clock with breaking news out of Hancock County.
We have just learned Amazon is building a major distribution fulfillment center near Greenfield that could employ between 800 and 1,000 people.
The center is already under construction just northwest of Greenfield. No word yet on when people can begin applying for jobs or when the facility will open.
And as you know, Amazon already had a large footprint in central Indiana with a large distribution center in Greenwood, which will eventually employ more than 1,000 workers. Amazon also has facilities in Indianapolis, Plainfield, and Whitestown. RTV6 is connecting you to job opportunities, and we will stay on top of this breaking news and bring you new developments as they come in.
A Noblesville contractor shells out $4,000 to a customer to avoid criminal prosecution for home improvement fraud.
Call 6 Investigates has been telling you about Mark Sellers and his business practices since 2018. And our Kara Kenny joins us now with today's developments.
Prosecutors just reached this one-page agreement with contractor Mark Sellers. In it, Sellers agreed to pay a Greenfield homeowner $4,000 in restitution. In exchange, prosecutors agreed to withhold a home improvement fraud charge.
I hope to get my money back.
Lisa Dunkel of Greenfield hired Noblesville contractor Mark Sellers to build a pole barn, but she says Sellers took her money and didn't finish the job. In January 2019, Hancock County prosecutors filed a home improvement fraud charge against Sellers. But fast forward a year and Sellers will now avoid a conviction because he paid Dunkel $4,000 in restitution. Sellers had faced up to a year behind bars and a $5,000 fine if convicted. In response to the agreement withholding criminal charges, Lisa Dunkel told us, "I am glad to get my money and that people are aware of his nonsense." We caught up with Sellers in court last year in Hancock County.
Mark, are you still doing work as a contractor?
What's that?
Are you still doing work as a contractor?
I work for other companies.
Are you going to pay people back?
Call 6 Investigates first told you about Sellers and his business practices in 2018 after we found more than $110,000 in judgments against him. Customers who say Sellers owes them money.
Mark, Kara Kenny with WRTV. We want to talk to you about your business practices, sir. There's a lot of people that say you owe them money. Are you taking people's money and not doing the work promised?
No.
Sellers told us in 2018 that he's working on it.
Are you going to give people their money back, sir?
Yeah, through the judgments we will.
Customers in other counties say Sellers still owes them money, and they hope to get their money back, just like Lisa Dunkel got hers. According to this agreement, Mark Sellers cannot commit a criminal offense for a year. If he does, prosecutors can refile charges. I'm Call 6 Investigates' Kara Kenny.
And we reached out to Sellers' attorney for comment, and we are still waiting to hear back.
After the firing of their president for sexual misconduct, Franklin College is now setting up an independent hotline to find out if there are any victims on campus. The board fired Dr. Thomas Miner last month after he was arrested in Wisconsin for attempting to arrange an encounter online with a teenager who was really a police officer. Miner was arrested after going to the meeting. Now college administrators want to find out if there are any victims on campus. They want to know if Miner violated the sexual misconduct policy with any current or former students and employees. The number to call is 1-855-858-3344. It's on your screen. You can remain anonymous. The college also is reporting that as of yesterday, Miner has removed all of his personal items from the official president's home on campus and will not return to the residence. The locks in the home have been changed.
Now to the latest on the spread of the coronavirus, both here in the U.S. and worldwide. There are 11 confirmed cases in the U.S., none in Indiana. 9 of those cases are travel-related, and 2 involved person-to-person transmission in both cases between a husband and a a wife. In China, there are more than 17,200 confirmed cases and at least 361 deaths, an increase of nearly 2,900 cases in a 24-hour period. The epicenter of the outbreak is Wuhan, China. Americans flying into the U.S. from that province may be subject to up to 2 weeks of mandatory quarantine. And here locally, work is being done to study and better understand the virus. RTV6's Megan Singh-Torum shows us how research at Butler University could play a role in possible prevention or treatment.
Students and professors are working together in this Butler lab, studying different types of coronaviruses. They're trying to better understand the scientific makeup and what parts of the virus are important. They've looked at numerous strains like SARS and MERS, and because of that, they have a jump start on learning about this most recent strand from China. They've discovered key parts of the virus they say could be useful to biochemists or people working in pharmaceuticals as drugs for prevention and treatment are being created. Coronavirus research has been going on in this lab for several years, and students tell us the work has recently taken on a whole new meaning.
When I started working on coronaviruses, I never expected it to become an epidemic or a disease that's affecting so many populations worldwide.
It's exciting to contribute to something bigger than yourself. We are focused on a very teeny tiny part of coronaviruses in the grand scheme of things, but the implications can be so profound from such a small component.
The microbiologist these undergrads are working with says the events unfolding internationally are a stark reminder of why they study these viruses in the first place.
It's one of those moments where it's scary, for a lot of people, but it's also one that just further confirms why we're doing this research, why it's important to look at these viruses.
The group is getting ready to publish their findings. They're hoping it helps play a role in prevention and treatment of the virus. Working for you, Megan Singh-Torum, RTV6.
And that group's publication is due out in the next 6 months. As we are learning, this Wuhan strain is being called the novel or new coronavirus. Other coronaviruses can cause other illnesses like SARS or MERS.
We discovered today just how complicated this all is, and that's why we've broken down the work of these Butler researchers, plus everything else that we can find out about the Wuhan coronavirus. You can find that on the RTV6 app or at theindychannel.com.
2 in a row if you're counting. 2 record high temperatures for Indianapolis. 63 yesterday. Temperatures zoom right back into the 60s today. There won't be a third. During the day tomorrow, temperatures will fall in the morning hours, then much cooler the rest of the week, but close to average will just be below average in most cases. Clouds have been increasing through the day. I'm sure you've noticed that. Our rain chances will increase this evening. These are all light showers, pretty much zipping along from southwest to northeast towards Spencer. That'll roll into Morgan County, southern Marion County as well. If you're headed out this evening, the showers around. Look at the surge of warmth. 61 in Lafayette. Temperature in Indy as warm as it's been today at 66. 67 is the temperature in Bloomington. Can't get used to that. As I just showed you, we'll have temperatures 30 degrees colder by the time we get to the middle of the week. During the evening hours tonight, temperatures steady, rain chances climbing. That's the best way to describe that. During the day tomorrow, we'll have some showers around. This is 11 o'clock tonight. That slides off to the east, but then we have more showers lift in during the morning hours. Temperatures relatively mild when you wake up, then turning much colder through the day. So don't dress for the mild temperatures in the morning. Be sure to take your heavier coat with you.
The historic Senate impeachment trial of President Trump wraps up this week. Today, both sides offer closing remarks ahead of Wednesday's expected vote. ABC's Serena Marshall is at the Capitol now with the latest.
A final plea by both sides in the impeachment trial of President Trump.
Innocent people don't try to hide every document and witness, especially those that would clear them. That's what guilty people do.
The only appropriate result here is to acquit the president and to leave it to the voters to choose their president.
House managers summarizing their case against the president and making the point that the votes senators cast whether to convict or reject the impeachment articles Wednesday will reverberate through history.
Whether or not the office of the presidency of the United States of America is above the law. That is the question.
But the president's lawyers argued the process is what failed.
A question to be asked. Did the House Judiciary Committee rush to judgment in fashioning the articles of impeachment.
66 of 100 senators are needed to remove the president, and that's not expected. A censure also seems unlikely, even though one of those key moderate Republicans who voted to block new witness testimony offered a warning echoed by other Republicans this past weekend.
Inappropriate was the way I'd say improper, crossing the line. But hopefully he'll look at this and say, okay, that was a mistake. I shouldn't have done that.
Democrats also looking for an admission of impropriety.
After the Nixon impeachment process, after the Clinton impeachment process, both of them made public apologies to the nation.
Apology not anticipated as President Trump speaks to the nation during the State of the Union tomorrow, tweeting out today during the proceedings, insisting he did nothing wrong, writing, "I hope Republicans and the American people realize that the totally partisan impeachment hoax is exactly that, a hoax."
Before Wednesday's vote, each senator is given 10 minutes to speak on the Senate floor. Many expected to use their time to explain their position. Reporting on Capitol Hill, Serena Marshall, ABC News.
Well, this is all happening while the president is running for re-election, and the first-time voters will weigh in on their picks for the 2020 presidential nominations is tonight in Iowa. The Iowa caucuses begin at 8 p.m. Eastern. The president has only two long-shot challengers. The Democratic race is very tight and unpredictable. Voters will head to more than 1,600 caucus sites around the state. Democratic candidates have been busy today trying to win over last-minute undecided voters. ABC News will plan a special report at 8 p.m. For those of you who are Bachelor fans, you will not miss any of tonight's program. It will air in its entirety. On Wednesday, Second Lady Karen Pence will return to Indiana to present the paperwork for President Trump to appear on the Indiana ballot. She'll present the paperwork at the Secretary of State's office.
Just into the RTV6 newsroom, conservative radio host Rush Limbaugh announced he has been diagnosed with advanced lung cancer. He told listeners on his program today that he will take some days off for further medical tests and to determine treatment. Limbaugh called himself the mayor of Realville in announcing his illness. He'd been experiencing shortness of breath that he initially thought might be heart-related, but turned out to be a pulmonary malignancy.
This is shaping up to be a busy month already for detectives. Still ahead on the Now Indy at 5:30. This has been a violent start to February in the Circle City, and now city leaders are trying to brainstorm ways to turn things around.
And just ahead here at 5, for many college graduates, the bills become a way of life. Paying back those student loans can be tough, but things could be much worse for those who fall for a pricey scam. What to watch for coming up.
Beautiful jeweler.
A proposal that would give Hoosier pregnant women more accommodations at work might look very different in a few hours. The bill, which is being heard right now in the Senate, would give women reasonable accommodation at work, which could mean things like more frequent breaks, temporary transfer to a less strenuous position, or modified work schedules. The bill is one of Governor Holcomb's 2020 priorities, and it easily passed through committee last week. But there's a proposal on the table to instead turn the bill into a study committee and take no action this year. Earlier today, advocacy groups and mothers pushed for the Senate to pass the original bill.
All moms want are reasonable accommodations to keep their pregnancy safe and healthy. How many more babies must die in Indiana before the legislators will vote yes? All we're asking is for Senate Bill 342 to be heard today and for them to listen to moms in Indiana.
And some of the state's largest employers, such as Cummins, Eli Lilly, and Salesforce, have said they support the proposal. The Indiana Chamber of Commerce has opposed it, saying it could lead to lawsuits and troubles for smaller businesses. We will keep you updated with tonight's developments. Hiring Hoosiers is RTV6 commitment to bring you information on all kinds of job opportunities. Target is hiring for its new store in West Lafayette. The company needs to hire 65 people for its new small format store that will open on State Street on April 5th. Hiring events will be held Friday and next Tuesday, February 11th at Young Hall on the Purdue University campus. Friday's hours are 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. On February 11th, it's 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. You are encouraged to go online and apply at target.com/careers ahead of the job fair. Near college campuses is just one of the areas where Target is placing its smaller stores.
If someone in your family has a student loan, chances are they have a loan servicing company handling it. But what if that company turned out to be a fraud? Consumer reporter John Mattery shows why thousands of students may now be on the hook for unpaid bills, so you don't waste your money.
Many of us have student loans that we've been paying off for years. So imagine learning that the company you faithfully sent your money to all this time turned out to be a big fraud and was never paying down your loan at all.
It's okay, buddy.
Unfortunately, everything's not okay in Karen Morris's home. She received a letter from the FTC informing her it's freezing the assets of her student loan servicing company, Mission Hills Federal.
The Federal Trade Commission was closing them down because it was a student loan scam.
The FTC claims Mission Hills took in more than $23 million from college grads like Karen, but failed to repay their student loans. Worse, the U.S. Department of Education now tells her it'll take her tax return or garnish her wages to get the money she still owes.
Now, student loans want to take my tax return.
How much money do you currently owe for your student loans?
$2,000. And they're going to take my tax return this year.
Sadly, this is not an isolated case. Loan servicing scams and loan forgiveness scams target thousands of students every year. So what are the warning signs that your loan company may not be on the up and up? NerdWallet.com says warning signs of a loan repayment scam are upfront fees, promises of loan forgiveness. The company advertises on social media. The company has a high number of complaints.
I mean, I was doing what I was supposed to do and paying my student loans back every month. That was my agreement.
No one answered Mission Hills phones when we called, and the Department of Education tells us they're investigating to see if any of this debt can be forgiven. Till then, don't waste your money working for you. I'm John Matteries, RTV6.
Time now for your Storm Team 6 forecast. Did you get outside and enjoy that mild weather today?
And yesterday, it was wonderful.
With sunshine. Yesterday was
It puts a little pep in your step.
I even found a weed growing.
What?
You found a
Oh my
weed?
goodness.
Actually, I didn't make the discovery. My wife told me there's one that's flourishing on the side of the house. So that tells you
rogue weed.
in
Is
February.
that spring?
We'll take care of it later this week because winter will return. But kind of in the umbrella of a larger picture here for a second, Climate Prediction Center saying that the trend is for above average temperatures for central Indiana, most of the state and areas southeast as we roll through the month. Not surprising, right? By the end of the month, our average high would be 45. That sounds silly to say that. Average high would be 45. We're at 66 right now. Temperatures during the day tomorrow falling as the temperature falls. Rain chances continue to come up. Then it gets interesting. Tomorrow night, I think we'll see a wintry mix, including some freezing rain potential. Then Wednesday night into Thursday morning, a more significant system that will bring some accumulating snow. Exactly where is the question? All the computer models kind of hint at a little mix. If this is freezing rain, obviously you have to be on our toes with that. If more of that is converted over to just snow, then that would up the snowfall potential. All models have had a sharp cutoff. If you draw Terre Haute to Indy to Muncie southeast, much less snow and more as you go to the north and west. One thing is guaranteed in our conversation. This will change as we go forward as the Storm Center track changes. Right now, it's just some light rain showers across central Indiana. Those will increase in coverage and intensity just a little bit. The darker greens represent then some of the cooler temperatures, 54. We're calling that cooler here on February 3rd. While it's 68 degrees in Bedford, we did set a record today. Oh, Madison, aren't you the cutest thing ever? I love boxers.
Yes.
Yeah, they're so friendly, and they'll hop right up on your lap and have a seat. But you can't do that if we're going to go for a walk. Temperatures in the 50s through the evening hours with a couple of light rain showers. Thanks to Jeannie for sharing that picture. Watch the temperature fall. While we're sleeping, we'll take a hit. When we wake up in the morning, that's still not bad, especially if you're south and east of Indy in the 50s. North and west, you're feeling the colder air already. And then the trend continues for falling temperatures through the day. Take your heavier coat because we'll be back just above the freezing mark by tomorrow evening. Overall rain chances through the day stay 50–60%. So it's likely we'll have some rain showers. It's tomorrow night that we begin to see the mix of some pink, which would be a rain-snow mix, maybe some light freezing rain. Again, we're just on the very northern edge of the system for tomorrow night. I think we're more in play with the overall system and the impact Wednesday night into Thursday. Once we get through that, temperatures stay below average, but we start to dry out. Friday, 32 degrees. Over the weekend, dry, 36 Saturday and 40 on Sunday. Two things to watch, tomorrow night and Wednesday night.
We'll do that.
And you always watch RTV6.
There you go. I love that. All right. Thanks, Kevin, for that. Hey, Lucas Oil Stadium, not just for football, the big concert announcement that will bring a Hoosier native and his legendary rock and roll band to Indiana. Indiana's own Axl Rose is bringing the Guns N' Roses Stadium Tour home to the Hoosier State this summer. The rock and roll legends today announced North American dates as part of their worldwide stadium tour this summer, and Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis is on the list for August 21st. Tickets go on sale Friday at noon. Rose is a Lafayette native, by the way, who founded the group in the 1980s.
And if country music and a smaller venue, that Lucas Oil Stadium is more to your liking, then this concert announcement might be for you. Leanne Rimes is coming to the new Brown County Music Center in Nashville on Friday, April 10th. Tickets go on sale for that Friday at 10 a.m.
All new at 6 p.m. here on RTV6, local food delivery drivers getting carjacked at gunpoint. One driver's terrifying story that he hopes serves as an important warning for others.
But first on the Now Indy, kids coming together to help kids. The volunteer effort to help alleviate hunger when children are not in school. You're watching RTV6. We'll be right back with the Now Indy.